I think that given recent events, we should have a new holiday that is today. We're going to call it Lemon Sorbet Day or just Palate Cleanser Day. The day between, well, yesterday and Father's Day, which is tomorrow. Now, not sure if I'm going to post a video tomorrow or not, so I just wanted to get some of those things out of the way today. Want to share a little bit about myself. I had mentioned in other videos that I had a very wise grandmother that told me it was very important to always have the right enemies. The reason she said that was because friends, some are going to be genuine and some are not. You're never really going to know. The only people in your life who are ever going to always be genuine with you 100% of the time are your enemies. No one will ever pretend to be your enemy. So make sure you have the right ones. Now, she was from Mississippi. My grandfather was from Alabama. And my mother was actually born here in Florida. So I trace my roots back quite a ways. I've done the 23andMe and Ancestry thing, and they go back a few hundred years, all down here. I would like to just say this right now. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And the reason that I brought up my grandmother, maternal grandmother, on the day before Father's Day was because even though my father wasn't born here in the South, he and her had a wonderful relationship. They had this simpatico thing that I've never seen two people from two diverse backgrounds just get along like they had known each other their whole lives. And had a really great dad. He died young. But one thing that I learned from my grandmother that would apply to this exact situation we're going through right now is how to handle situations like this with grace. Because occasionally as kids, when you're immature and young, you kind of get sometimes an attitude that you are owed things. Like, for example, life being fair, or everything being right all the time, or everything being predictable all the time. And when we as kids would occasionally get into that wrong place in our heads, my grandmother and my father both had a term that they would use to try to answer it. Instead of engaging, instead of acknowledging this, it was a term that comes from the South. It really does. Southern culture has the answer. And I'm very blessed to have had such a good father, even though I only had him for a short time. But that term actually was made popular by this girl, Miranda Lambert. She is going to end up being, in my mind, one of these wise old grandmothers eventually. Given what she's been through in her life and what she's lived through, I think that it's going to be something where she's going to be able to point back to a song and a video that she recorded some years ago that talks about exactly how you deal with people who believe they're entitled to something. This is a recent picture of her, actually up in New York, engaging in Southern culture. She's got herself a snow cone. That's a very Southern thing. And it looks like it's lemon, lime, and cherry or something like that. So, you know, when it gets into your blood, it's in your blood. But what is that term? There was a song that she put out called Only Prettier. And one of the lines in it is, I don't have to be hateful. I can just say, bless your heart. And this is what my grandmother would say when we would act so poorly. Or we would think that we were entitled to something, or there would be some type of a tantrum. Bless your heart. And it's great because it's 3 words, just like what the other side is walking around talking about now, that movement. And you really have to have the proper inflection. I had to find the right image here, the right GIF to show this. But this is the perfect response. This is the perfect response. And so the official Florida Maquis response going forward to anybody who talks about BLM will be these 3 words, BYH. Hashtag BLM, hashtag BYH. Bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart. That's all we're going to say. No response, no argument, no explaining, no counter-explaining, no talking about anything else. Every time we hear, quote-unquote, BLM, we're just going to say BYH. Bless your heart. And walk away. Because that is the classy Southern culture way of dealing with it. And that's all we're going to say. And nothing can be said about it. There's nothing hateful. There's nothing vicious about it. It's just bless your heart. And you got to have that tilt, with the eyes too. And believe me, sometimes as kids it would be frustrating, but it worked. It absolutely worked. This is the key, guys. This is the key to rising above it and being beyond it. That's the only way you win. That's the only way you distinguish yourself from them. Never wrestle with a pig. The pig enjoys it down in the mud, getting all filthy and dirty. And that's all you're ever going to end up. So don't argue with them. Don't talk about them. Don't acknowledge them. Take notes. Believe me, take notes. None of my money's ever getting spent at Chick-fil-A ever again. And quite a few other places. Take notes as to where to not spend your money. Because that's what cancel culture is all about. Finances. So, anyway, on another note, you have to think about this strategically, guys. I know everybody wants what they want when they want it right now. But you have to think about this long term. The collapse is coming. You just have to accept that. And it's coming in the next 4 years. I promise you. Let this guy be the presiding judge over the complete and total collapse. Believe me, a day is coming, and it's coming very soon, where they're going to wish for the summer of 2020. They're going to wish for things to have been as good as they were in 2019. Because all this stuff has long-term ramifications. Everything that's happened in the last 3 months. And in 2024, let this be your answer. You see, this girl on the right, she was another pretty face from Fox, but she was something different. Kimberly Guilfoyle, this is Trump Jr., she was something a cut above. When you listen to her speak, she had a presence that the others didn't. And her hooking up with this guy, and her previous having been Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, she's got a nose for power. And honestly, when Biden falls flat on his face, and the economy collapses, and everything, you think things are bad now? Oh, just wait. Just wait. All sorts of other things are coming down the road that they're not talking about. Right now, there's a coin shortage. Wait till other things crop up. And wave 6 and wave 7 and wave 9 of well, I'm not even going to mention it anymore because who knows what they're doing with that word, but the new waves of the thing going around keep cropping up. And every single time there's a wave of something, they want to point the finger at this, point the finger at that, point the finger at the other, shut down businesses. That can only be sustained for a certain amount of time. And the damage has been done. A ship doesn't sink the moment the torpedo hits it. A ship doesn't sink the moment the torpedo hits it. It stays on the surface for quite some time. And that's kind of where we're at. Let this be your answer in 2024. And bring home the current guy to a hero's welcome and give him his TV channel that he was planning on having in 2016 anyway. It would make perfect sense. So, anyway, I will leave it there. But once again, a new holiday, June 20th. We'll call it Palate Cleansing Day. And Southern culture, once again, rides to the rescue. Happy Father's Day. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.